What is a commonplace notebook? It is a method to compile knowledge and wisdom, to collect the thought of others and things or facts that you learn and interest you and you want to go back to it again and again. It could be ideas, facts, notes from books that you read, quotes, documentary, TED Talk series or sermon notes, or from YouTube's or podcast. Hi, my name is Miranda, and today we're going to discuss about commonplace notebooks, how you can start your own and how do you keep or maintain your own commonplace notebooks. As you can see here, these are my collections over the years. So what is the purpose to have a commonplace notebook? The purpose is to develop your mind, to increase your intellect, to learn something new, and to remember it, then to retrieve to it when you need it. Who's usually keeping a commonplace notebooks is anyone really who's interested in learning, to increase their knowledge, to increase their intellect, and for anyone who really wants to learn something new every day. So turns out I've been doing a commonplace notebook without knowing that what I'm doing is actually called a commonplace notebook. Here I'm going to share a few tips and stories from my own journey in commonplace notebooks. Tips number one is actually find a really good notebook. I started with the Leuchtturm 1917, the first one that I thought about commonplacing. Basically, I just want a notebook where I could collect all the sayings, all the wisdoms from all the books that I read and from the quotes that I read as well, the quotes that I like. I just want to put them in one notebook. Why I said find a good notebooks, because unbeknownst to me, this has been 10 years and the soft cover of it is already crumbling down and leaves a mark everywhere, right? So I love the Leuchtturm paper. For me, it's one of the best. I'm using Stalogy, I'm using the MD notebooks, and I also am using a binder, just plain ring binder that I customize myself and tab it myself. Find a good notebook. That's the first one, who doesn't crumble in the tens of years to come. The next one is to find good supplies to use your notebook with. And I think these are the most important part, is that you have a good pen, any pen that you like to write with, really. The second one is that you need a ruler. Any ruler will do. And then the third one is probably different colors of highlighters, and I'll tell you why as well at the back. And also colored dot stickers. One is from the Hobonichi and one is from the Traveler's Notebook. It has color dot stickers, and I also again will tell you why. Number three is to have an index system. The first time that I do my commonplace is that I do have an index, because Leuchtturm has an index in the front anyway, and the way I do it is just because the pages are numbered, so I can just write down which book is it and which author it is, right? And then if I have like quotes, then I will write quotes in here, and I leave a couple of blank pages just for quotes, right? And then I'm moving on to other notebooks, like for example, then the MD notebooks B6 that I didn't know that I need an index for. Right now I'm learning, because I want to retrieve that information like as soon as possible. Like I would want to know, where do I put the quotes or the subjects or the books that I learn. You need an index system. There are three different ways that you can do an indexing system. One is by just table of content, which is very simple and it works. Depending on the person, or depending about the different system of organizing and categorizing. So for me, I write down the name of the books that I've read. I've write down the author, and then I've write down the page number of the quotes or the ideas that I like. But in here, I did not know that. I didn't do my indexing. So all I did is just, write down the name of the book, the title of the book, and the author, and I just write down the things that I learned from the book. I do it, I know, kind of like creatively with a lot of stickers, but that's just the way I like it. Other people and other notebooks, I just like, all pure writing. So It is, however, up to you. The second one is that you can organize it by keyword or topics. What you do is color code each entry using dot stickers or highlighters and have margin to do it. For example, this is everything that I learned from YouTube. I put it in just this one binder, and it's easy for me to do with rings because I can just pop it in, pop it out. And I have margins like here. If you are organizing it by objects, by subjects, or by topics, what you would want to do is either you highlight it in blue colors. For me, blue colors is always about knowledge. Or you could use it pink for subjects, for example, quotes, right? Or instead of a highlighter, you could use a dot sticker to mark on the margin. So for example, if this is blue, then I would, instead of highlighting this blue, I would just put a blue sticker right next to it, next to the title and everything else. So that is the other way to do an indexing. And also you can use the indexing by category. You use it for knowledge, quotes, books you read, or podcasts, or history, or nature. It's limitless. The way you organize your index is completely up to you, and it will evolve over time the more you do your own commonplace notebooks. Tip number 4 is to be flexible, because the way you organize is also the way you think. Throughout your commonplace journey, you'll find that you have your own method of organizing, and it doesn't come in the first time. So throughout the journey, you'll find your own methods and be flexible with it. You don't need to follow certain rules of doing it the same way as others, because people think differently. And ultimately, the one who needs to enjoy the commonplace journal is actually yourself. So it has to be according to your organization method, your preference of papers and books. So yeah, don't be afraid to experiment. For example, myself, I started with this Leuchtturm, and then I move on to this Midori notebook, and then I move on to the A5 Midori notebook, and finally now I've come to a place where I know I just wanted to use one type of notebooks for everything, for my commonplacing, from the books that I read, from the quotes that I want to collect, because I know ultimately when I want to store it in my shelves, it will look like this. It'll look organized, and it's very easy for me to take one because I also have the labels in place as well. That's how I organize my own commonplace notebooks. I also learned that I cannot put all the informations, all the jumble of informations, the quotes, the books, the YouTubes, knowledge from podcasts, or the sermon into one notebook. Because I think that if I have one notebook for everything in one place, then it's very hard for me to retrieve that information again. So what I do is I have different notebooks for different subjects, and it works really well for me. What I do is everything about what I read, book notes, is I put it in just one notebooks. All the books that I read, whether it's fiction or non-fiction, I would put it in this just one notebook. And then anything about the Bible, because I'm very interested in, or you can say this is my Bible journal, but any facts or knowledge about the Bible, I would just have this one notebook. It will contain information about, for example, the prophet Isaiah or Jeremiah or Paul, interesting tidbits, or the quotes from the Bible. I would have it in just this one notebook. And for YouTube or for podcasts or for documentaries, I would want to put it in this ring binder. So that's what I mean, because everyone has different way of thinking and the way of retrieving information. That's how I do it. So never be afraid to experiment and doing it your way, because at the end, all this commonplace notebook is for yourself only. Tips number 5 is actually to keep all these notebooks near you. Because when you have new information, or when you read, or when you watch the documentaries, or when you watch YouTube, you would want to have your notebook close to you, because then it's easier for you to enter all those information. Not only for you to enter those information, but I think a commonplace notebook is also for you to read, to reread it again and again, to come back to it again and again as you want to process that information, process that collective thoughts, process that wisdoms. That's why you don't want to just store it in one place where it's hard for you to reach. Instead, keep it in the bookshelves in my room. Late at night or at nighttime when I wanted to relax, I could just go back to it and reread it again, and it'll become like a new, not a new, because we forget things a lot. So it'll become like a refresh memory, a refresh thoughts. And so those are the 5 tips from me, how you keep your commonplace notebooks, how you start your commonplace notebook. I hope that you find this useful. And if you like this content, please hit the like and subscribe button below. I will see you next week for more content. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.